This is a Starlink Mini. It is an ultra-portable satellite antenna used to access high-speed internet. We have been testing it for 7 months and a lot has changed in that time. For example, did you know that the Starlink Mini has secret subscription plans that don't even show up on Starlink's website? There have been a ton of changes in the terms and conditions that affect things like in-motion data or in-ocean data. This video will catch you up on all of those details, including 7 of the biggest terms and condition changes. We will also be covering all the different subscription plans, including the secret ones that you cannot find on their webpage. You are going to go bonkers over some of these. They are absolutely crazy. Finally, we'll wrap up with just a quick rundown of the growing accessory market out there, because there's a lot of accessories for these nowadays. Nobody likes really long YouTube videos, so we are going to go through this stuff as fast as possible. We are not sponsored by Starlink. However, if you are going to get a Starlink Mini or sign up for Starlink service, they do have a friends and family plan that actually makes it to where you can get your first month free. So all you have to do is use this QR code or click on the link in the description. When you sign up for your service, you'll get your first month free and I'll get 1 free month. So even though we aren't getting paid to make this video and we may go broke, we'll still have internet. In a previous video, we tested these antennas a lot. We tested them in motion, we tested them at the bottom of canyons, we tested them under incredibly thick tree coverage. And the truth is, we were continually impressed. While every once in a while we would get a break in our data, for the most part, this thing manages to work through just about anything in our experience, and that was with total neglect, not aiming it the correct direction or anything. So it is a very impressive antenna, but what is covered and what you're actually able to do with it nowadays is where the biggest changes lie. First big change that was made is a good one for all of you guys. This is the cost of the hardware has come down. I actually had to pay $5.99 for this thing when it first came out. Nowadays it is $4.99 plus $20 in shipping and handling. So you save yourself $100. Here's the other change, early bird pricing. They had an early bird program where you could add a Mini if you already had residential service. So if you already had one of the big antennas up on your roof and you wanted to add a Mini, you could add this for $30 a month for the 50 gig roam plan. That is a plan that costs normal, when it's not bundled, it costs $50 a month. The bigger deal, and this is another change, is you can't pause your plan on the $30 plan. If you want to be able to pause, turn this plan on and off for when you're traveling, you have to upgrade to the $50 a month plan. And if you think about the math on that, if you don't travel all the time and you can pause this for 3 months here and 2 months there, it's probably going to end up being cheaper for you as long as you remember to do that. It's probably going to be cheaper for you to have the $50 a month plan anyway. On the pause, just so you guys know how easy it is, you can pull up the Starlink app on your phone, and when you go under your Mini, right there on the app, there is a pause button, and all you would have to do is hit that and confirm it, and then you've paused your service. They do sell it in monthly increments though, so if you pause it in the middle of the month, you're still paying for that whole month. And if you turn it back on, like on the last couple days of a month, you're still gonna get charged for a full month. Motion. Now, when this thing first came out, it didn't say that motion data, like throwing this on top of your car, and by the way, that's why this one looks weird with this black. It has a case on it with magnets on the back for mounting it to the top of a car. If you throw this on the top of your car, at the beginning when they first came out, it did not say that motion data was included. I think in all reality, they just wanted to get enough of them out there to see how they perform before they were going to guarantee anything. So they did figure out a lot of things in regards to motion data, and we're going to go through some of those rules here in just a second. So motion data wasn't technically included before, but everyone was using it that way. Now it is included in certain plans. The base plan, the 50 gigabit plan for $50 a month, that one includes motion data. So you are fine to use it on your vehicle while driving. They say that it will work up to 100 miles per hour. Now that's a key answer for a lot of people because I had no idea there were so many people that owned airplanes. But we had lots and lots of questions in the comments where they said, can I stick this on one of my planes and get internet when I'm flying? Well, I guess the answer would be if you're going less than 100 miles per hour, it will probably work. But I think that's probably why they have the 100 mile per hour threshold in there. If you got a Learjet and you're flying at 400 something miles an hour, I don't think this is gonna work for you. Also, if you have a Learjet, I think that's the least of your problems. Okay, let's talk international. Originally, when these things first came out and they launched in the beta, international was not included, and they alluded to a global plan, but they didn't really have any details on it. The truth is, nowadays, with the 50 gig base plan on your Roam, international travel is included, and it's actually covered in 100 markets. I will throw up the map right now on the screen, and you will be able to see where those 100 markets are. On their website, you can go there and you can click on markets that aren't covered yet, and a lot of times it will give you information on when they may think that they're going to be covered or whether coverage is coming soon. So check out this map. These are the 100 markets where you can travel to and your thing will work right now. Now, there are limitations on that. You are only allowed to be out of country for up to 2 months. After 2 months, you do have to return to your home country and have this thing bill and send through signals and everything, or check in so it knows that you went home before you can take off to another country. Essentially, I think they're just trying to make sure that people aren't moving to another country. The service on these costs different amounts of money depending on what country you're from. So I think they don't want people like buying it in a cheap contract country and then using it in an expensive contract country. That would be my guess. Now, actually, that is one interesting thing. When you're talking about motion, pay attention to what country you're in. Some countries have weird laws. In Mexico, for some reason, it is actually illegal to use this, to use the data from this while you're in motion. I don't know why. Hopefully that's a law that changes. I know that literally every race truck in the Baja 1000 runs one of these on their car that is using data while they're racing. So it seems like that's the weirdest country to have that rule. In-motion use of the Starlink is illegal in Mexico. The second country was Japan, just to make sure everyone catches that. Okay, this is a really cool one for some of you boaters. I am not a boater, but I had lots of questions on whether or not this would work in the ocean. So the 50 gigabyte basic Roam plan will work in coastal regions is what they call it. And they define coastal in the terms and conditions as 12 nautical miles from the coast. So if you're sailing up and down the coast of California and you're not getting that far out into the ocean, you would be able to use this. They do have plans that these are some of those semi-secret plans that aren't actually listed on the website that do cover wide open ocean. And we will cover those in a minute when we get to the service plans. Another quick fact just to help you guys understand, if you have 50 gigabytes of data, that is roughly about 20 hours of streaming high def video. Hopefully that gives you some idea of like how much data that is. And remember, with the 50 gig plan, if you go over, you can still buy 1 gig at a time for $1. So if you need extra data on your travels, you can get extra data on your travels. Okay, now let's talk through the actual data plans that are available for your Starlink. Now, these relate to the Starlink Mini. That's kind of what this video is about, but realize they also have other antennas. They have a Pro version that's higher powered. They have the normal kind that people are mounting up on their roof. A lot of these plans can be used interchangeably with different types of antennas, but mostly I'm speaking specifically around the Mini stuff right now. Okay, so first up is the main plan that everyone knows about. The Roam plan that is capped at 50 gigabytes. And then for every gigabyte after that, you're charged $1. One thing to understand about this plan is this plan, when you're traveling through an area, the residential customers that have one of the antennas on their houses and the mobile customers get preference over you. So one thing that I've noticed is when you're traveling through a really dense city, my speeds on my Mini will slow way down to like 30 to 40 megabits per second. And then the second that I get out of town, I see them skyrocket again. So if you're a person that's using this stuff out remotely, like out in the woods and everything, you need to understand you're probably going to have wildly fast speeds because you're not competing with very many people for the bandwidth of that satellite at that particular area. But in crowded areas, these do not have priority. They're low on the totem pole. So they will have what you'd call like a throttled. It will have a throttled back speed depending on how busy the network is. The next plan up from there is the Roam Unlimited one. This is the second one that you'll see on the website most of the time. The Unlimited is just taking away that 50 gigabyte threshold. You can have unlimited data. You are still throttled to where residential and mobile customers take priority over your traffic, but you're going to be paying $165 a month and you don't have that 50 gig gate. You also are going to have the same benefits as that other plan. So you'll have that international, you'll have that in-motion data, you'll have that coastal up to 12 nautical miles off the coast. You'll have all of those benefits. The next plan after that, this is where we get into the plans that you can't see online. So the only way that you get access to these plans is you have to actually buy a Starlink product. You have to get one of these base plans. You have to activate it. And once you activate it, your phone will tell you what other plans are available in your area. So I'm just talking about the general list that is available, that exists out there. I can't promise whether any of them are going to be available in your area though. But here's some of those secret plans that do exist. The very first one up is going to be a mobile priority plan. This one costs $250 a month. It is a 50 gigabyte plan and you get priority over everyone else. So remember how I said this one can get slowed down? With that one, you're guaranteed the fastest speed. So you're right up there with the residential and everything else. Okay, let's talk about the Global Roam subscription. This is the one they alluded to when this thing first came out, but they have got it defined and now it is available. Like I said, it's kind of one of the hidden plans. You're first gonna have to get a normal plan and then you will potentially have the option to upgrade to this plan. The Global Roam is just like the normal Roam where it's deprioritized behind residential and it's deprioritized behind mobile users. But you will be able to use this in all 100 markets and you will not have any type of gate like the 50 gig threshold. So if you use a ton of data all the time and you don't want to be paying $1 per gig because that can get really expensive, especially if you use a lot of internet, this is the one that you can buy, gives you that unlimited internet, but it is deprioritized. The other thing that this one gives you, which is super unique, it does not give you ocean coverage, but you have the option of buying oceanic coverage per gigabyte. So you're able to go in and say, you know, if you're going to sail your boat across the Atlantic Ocean, you could take this with you, and ahead of time you could say, I want to buy 100 gigabytes of oceanic data. The pricing for that oceanic data is not listed on here. I think the only way that you get access to see the price of it is if you actually subscribe to the Global Roam plan. And the Global Roam plan is kind of expensive, and I am not going to do that just to find out how much the ocean cost is. So this is how much the Global Roam plan is. If you need oceanic data, this is crazily the cheapest way to get it. Okay guys, this is where it starts to get really crazy. There is a mobile priority plan. This is kind of like the everything plan. This will give you ocean data. This will give you land data. This will give you global data in all 100 plus markets that they have internet. It is throttled at 1 terabyte. So you are buying 1 terabyte of mobile priority data per month. This plan is $1,000 per month. So I have to assume this is made for people that have like yachts that are like traveling around the world and doing lots of conference calls and have 40 people on their boat that are all using the internet at the same time. So yes, $1,000 a month gets you all the benefits, including ocean and 1 terabyte of priority data. The final plan, you will not believe how expensive this is. The final plan is mobile priority 5 terabyte. So that's the same as the one I was just talking about, but instead of 1 terabyte, it is 5 terabytes. which means it is 5 times the cost. That one costs $5,000 a month. I just assume that if you're willing to pay $5,000 a month for internet, that $5,000 a month is probably nothing to you. Anyhow, that one includes ocean, land, global, everything. As far as I know, those are the plans that are available currently. If you guys are worried about accessories, there are so many accessories available for this now that you actually have a lot of shopping options. And one nice thing is initially, when the first company came out and had a case to mount it on your roof, they were charging like $500 for these things. But now there's actually a lot of different companies out there that make this stuff, and they're starting to get competitive and drive costs down. Some of the more expensive mounts for like vehicles and stuff are going to be ones like this magnet mount, because the magnet has to have an incredible amount of magnetism to be able to hold it on your roof while you're going 85 miles per hour on the freeway. So these are some of the more expensive ones that usually seem to be in the $200 to $300 range. But they have ones that are simple metal that will mount into a rack. If you happen to have a rack that you can mount it to, you can find those to be a lot cheaper. The other thing I'll tell you that's been the most convenient for me is I don't use the cable that came with this. It is like 1,000 yards too long and gets tangled. It is super annoying. So I went and got an aftermarket cable. I went and got it from a company called Veritas Vans. I am not sponsored by them. You can buy it from any company. They're a company that makes a lot of different accessories for this. But like I said, there's a ton of companies out there, so I'd price shop everything at this point. It just started to get competitive, which means prices are finally starting to come down. But this is a typical 12-volt plug. So this will plug into like a cigarette lighter style port. And then it has the barrel jack plug on the other side of it that just goes straight into the back of the antenna. So I just can run this outside my door or outside my window. I just close it in the door, so I don't even permanently mount this anywhere because I move it from car to car all the time. So I just put it there, plug it into a cigarette lighter inside the car, and I am up and running. Now, there are some people that have said, running it off of like the cigarette lighter in the car, sometimes it's possible that might not provide enough power, and maybe that will cause a data drop here every once in a while or something like that. I have actually never had any problems with that, because when this thing's operating, it's only pulling about 25 watts. When it first starts up, sometimes it does pull initially more power than that. So I haven't run into any issues with this, but if you are worried about it at all you need to do is get one of those power packs that you can plug this into. I'll show you what I'm talking about. If you're spending a ton of time on the road, I'm sure you have something like this already. So this one happens to be the Anker Solix C1000. This thing can run this internet for days, especially if I have this hooked up to my car to where it's charging when I'm driving. But this one does give me that nice little cigarette lighter port, and I can just plug it straight in. The other option is even Starlink themselves sell cables that, of course, they will guarantee work with their device. For like 31 bucks, you can get a USB-C cable that will just plug into a port like this one right here and plug into this, and will power it for hours and hours and hours. There's so many crazy accessories out there. There's people that make backpack accessories now, where it's a slimline charger or power for this that will run it off of a battery, and you can put it in your back when you're backpacking. I think that's insane. Batteries are heavy, but those are available. There's briefcase chargers for these things now. There's all kinds of things. One thing I would tell you guys to save your money on is there's all kinds of carrying or travel cases for these. These are, you saw me drop it earlier in the video. These things are very durable. I personally would not worry about getting any kind of protective case for it. They're pretty awesome. There is no shortage of accessories nowadays. Shop around. Some of the early adopter companies are still trying to charge way too much for this and acting like they're the only people on earth that make accessories, and that's just not true anymore. There's lots of competition out there. Even just from Starlink themselves, you can get cables for relatively cheap nowadays. So make sure you don't overspend on your accessories. If you need more detailed information on the testing of this, the speed of this, what type of Wi-Fi router does it have built into it, the range on that, or even the setup process of how does it get set up through a mobile phone and things like that, that is in the first video that I made on this product. So you can always watch that one and get a little bit more detailed on just like how to fire this thing up and get it going the first time. If you are gonna sign up, use my link. Free internet is nice. You get a free month too. Ow. Oh God, that thing is, these magnets are insane. Smash your fingers is how strong they are.